Booger and Stretch going head-to-head is going to be one of them. Two players who have a lot of pressure on them to perform in their own right, but also to outperform each other. They were duo mates, and they both performed insanely well, but there's always those whispers of who carried who's better. We saw Booger and Stretch going head-to-head in one of the qualifying weeks where Stretch ended up just coming out on top in the final game, winning it over Booger, but this is a rivalry that I'm super excited to see play out.
That's right, and I mean, it's been about 4 months or so since they've entered as a duo into competition, but the stigma carries with them as they do still play trios and other team-based game modes, so we'll be interesting to see the clash between those two titans. I mean, we saw Janice and Tayson fight one another over in the Stevie Stacks and EU today. And that was probably the biggest clash of Tayson's career because he took that to the Axe of Champions all the way down the line. P-God, oh my gosh, with the big follow-up onto Vibes. And that's going to be huge for him. His second elimination right now. 93 players left in the game.
Second elimination when there's 93 players left. So P-God has taken down 2 of the 7 players that have fallen in this lobby. So you can't overstate how big that is. If you're more of a casual Fortnite fan, you're tuning in, this might seem a little bit ridiculous. The 2 eliminations is huge at this point, but as you can see in the top left, there's only 7 people that have gone down. These players are the best of the best, and they're avoiding fights. They're playing safe, trying to get into that top area for those placement points, and P-God just feeling comfortable. He's feeling confident, running around as we see Prickly Boy was a fan favorite of yesterday, rocking the cactus skin. I feel like the casters definitely instantly resonated with this player and wanted to cheer him on as well. As Prickly Boy trying to find his way out of this one if he can. He was throwing that big pot ahead of him, but this player was waiting for it, kind of choreographed exactly where he was going to go into this push. So Prickly Boy trying to close it out. Players on top of him. Nice builds, but he drops inside the box. 2 tack shots is not enough, and Justice takes him down. Don't think Justice even needed the shotgun there, and look at that loadout. Justice is looking great.
That's right. Justice read the law and laid it down just like that, showing that he was going to be the one to action the scene right now. And that was well played. He just walks through pure confidence through Prickly Boy, who couldn't seem to find the defense, seem to find the shots that he needed. Here's Sentinel's Aspect on the other side. One of the veterans of the Fortnite community scene for the NA East, and a part of the earliest days of Fortnite competition. Now, back on his stride, back on the high horse here as a solo competitor. It almost seems like he came out of nowhere in the recent times, just coming back, showing players that, hey, this vet here still has what it takes to compete on the grand final stage. Ladies and gentlemen at home, this is game number 1. As you are tuning in, we do appreciate it. That's going to be a big down there, though. Aussie, that was Cody.
That was Cody. I have to know who gets that loot because this elimination, while being important at one point, I need to know who gets that mythic loot because that is going to change the game massively. If you're not dropping caddy corners, but you end up with the caddy corner loot, like we saw with Calc yesterday, Calc dropped, I think it was an 8 elimination win or close to it because he got his hands on that caddy loot because he found it in the mid to end game. So whoever has now found that, as I say, Calc goes down to Calazo. So players dropping now as Storm Surge, I believe, is going active and we have 12 people to fall. But if we can get a sight on who exactly has that shockwave launcher, it could play massively into this end game if it's a big name who's been performing and not used to having the added advantage of 2 mythic items.
Take a look at this, though. It's P-God back in another skirmish here. I see 4 different players, 4 individuals stacked up on top of one another off of this rotate here from west to east, trying to get to the safety of the new zone. P-God yesterday did this as well. He was playing off of these non-dead side rotates. I mean, he's just walking directly to the zone and taking battles along the way. We saw that halfway through the competition. It worked against him. We'll see, though, but no, not this time. It doesn't matter. P-God's going to react with the quickness there onto Uzi. Uzi is an up-and-comer as of late. He has been on fire, but P-God shuts that out. He puts the fire out.
Shuts it out quick. That was such a good, quick flick with the charged shotgun, too. That's a hard shot. If you just watched and you missed what happened there, the other player crash padded straight into the back of the box. P-God didn't see the player coming through because the builds were breaking, and then just split-second reaction flicks with the beautiful charged shotgun shot. And P-God's now got 3 eliminations on the board coming into endgame with the peppers as well. So he's got that extra mobility to maybe make that next rotate. And you touched on it just then, Monster. He doesn't really exactly go for the safe rotates. He'll go up against players and back himself in fights just like that. And now he's getting his Storm Surge tags. He's getting his damage on the board as we still have Storm Surge active right now. There is still 1 player getting hit by Storm Surge in this lobby as 71 players are still alive.
I just want to say that is probably the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen a ridiculous shot like that come out of P-God. But here's Skittles finding himself a nice little ridiculous elim onto Avery, who was so lit up on the run from an opponent. And Although Skittles may not be able to grab the rewards of Avery's loot there, it's going to be Rubified who's going to scoop that up. It's okay. He's got a nice free point to work with here. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, 75 players being, or less than 75 players in the lobby now is going to reward the first points. Placement points are divvied out as players go down. And just like that, now Skittle has 2. So this is a nice step in the right direction here. If the EU FNCS Grand Finals is any indicator, though, to how you want to play, how many points you want to average to take home a victory, you're going to need anywhere from 8 to about 10 around on average to be the FNCS champion of the region.
That is such a tall ask. 8 to 10 points every game for 6 games when you're battling out with 99 of the other best players in your region. Just showing these players are a whole nother level. 31 tag, nothing too heavy. That's clicks. NRG clicks falls. Someone who has a lot of pressure on them here today. A lot of expectations going down with 1 placement point on the board. Don't know if he got an elimination. We didn't see him in the feed, but just the unfortunate misplay there of going up against that wall that Justice does own. And he just has to hit that window edit and go straight through. Justice now knowing there's another player behind his other wall. So Justice in a really congested spot, as you're seeing in the bottom right of that mini-map, about 6 or 7 players all on top of each other, and Bucky being one of them. So pretty scary spot to be in.
Bucky, one of the scariest players, one of the hottest profiles across all game modes. Doesn't matter where you place him, team-based, squad-based, solo-based, he performs, he shows up. Smack, though, is going to be lighting up the feed right now, find himself his own point. Here's D-Roller. D-Roller, one of those few key individuals that once he gets going, he can definitely start to play off of that momentum. We know him to be a fragger. I want to say during the FNCS Invitationals, he was breaking records on his streak on up to those grand finals as well. So this is a player that lately has been somewhat dormant, but it shows that, hey, when he turns on big, and he doesn't look back. Right now, though, Ozzy, what I'm paying attention to is this zone and how many players are starting to migrate nice and early. This is only becoming more and more stacked. We bring our focus down to that mini-map. Just look at how many players have to cross in.
Yeah, and I was just going to say with D-Roller as well, it's just showing that he can kind of he can change the game style as well, though. Obviously, last in their solo invitational, there was a lot of high eliminations being dropped. At this point, we're seeing much more placement split. And it's showing his diversity to be able to play to that and play to the placement points, and understanding that most of the players are usually kind of winning this one out with a higher average placement than elimination points overall. We saw some of the regions like Asia have a lot lower point split with a 3-way tie for 47, but then you're looking like regions like my hometown region, OCE, with 70 plus points for first. It's just, you don't know. You need to play to your region. You need to play to your scoring format. You need to play to what is going to give you consistency.
Yeah, it's been very volatile across all the regions. Someone who's on fire, though, it's P-God. My gosh, 3 eliminations already. Ooh. We're not even halfway through the lobby. He's owning up to his name right now. Honestly, he has just been on top of everything. This new zone's going to be popping soon, though. We're going to see that half in, half out reveal itself, and he's already being so active. I wonder if he can just make an end game this time around. That is going to be momentous for him.
Would be momentous. He gets an opposite half though. One of them, the zones you want to get the most. This is the full pull zone right now. So as you can see, that half zone going half in. He takes Renan's though, but like you said, Monster, he likes to be around the action. He doesn't need to go on the safe side of zone. So this next rotate could be easy for him. He could pick up even more eliminations on the way, as Class is going to get that loot, but P-God is one who gets the elimination. He needs to make a tough rotate now. He has the launch pad, he has 2 crash pads, but with these trees in the way, and with the way this zone's going, he's going to have to find a clearing to try and get that launch pad off, I imagine, because crash pads, he's probably going to get stuck in the trees, as Blake just sitting out in the cone looking really nice up here on the top side. He's going to have to start making his rotate as well. It's not as far as P-God, but it's still a pretty difficult zone, as we still haven't even gained our 2nd placement point of today. Top 50 is where these players will get 1 more point on the board. Blake having 1 for top 75. Needs to look back and try and hold some of these players that are using the rotation behind him, and then he's going to have to keep making his way through. Blake has been a dominant player for such a long time now, but hasn't had a big showing in a solos event, so really high expectations, or looking forward to seeing how he can pull this off today. But no medium ammo left in the AR, shotgun only, and a harpoon. He needs to find something pretty quickly.
I'm just looking at the feed right there. I saw Dubs pick up reverse 2K. Kanata's going to fall to hand here as Bucky falls to Blake, and that's 3 major names, major players, absolutely skilled individuals all falling in concession on this rotate here to the half in, half out. This is where things get interesting. This is where Fortnite really starts to shine as a competitive esport. Here it is. It's when things start to get intense and the zone starts to move. Here it is, though. Blake still being so active. The control throws the cone down, and I can't help but imagine that he's going to go ahead and conclude this one as well. The second elimination for him now onto Haji here. End zone's going to pull his way.
Haji, a player who hasn't been so prominent in these games, but did manage to win a game in his heat to jump himself up there and qualify. Unfortunately, falling here at the hands of Blake, who had a great rotate. He was back against the wall. He had no AR ammo, and now he's got 2 huge refreshes in the half-half zone, so he's looking really, really good. Needs to try and kind of find some way to get back in this one a little bit more as he's on the bottom side, but rotating zone, he's going to go back through the woods, through all that tree cover, so not sure if he's going to be able to find his way back down on the low ground, as Illust looking much better with 5 crash pads and 1 launch pad.
Here it is, though. The wide shot giving you guys who's in the game. I see Bully, I see Aspect still alive, Illust still alive as well, and Illust is going to be running right through Pose here, who's on the other side of the wall. He's going to go in and crash pad his way in. That's going to be a major impact frag. Impact elimination for Illust. That's going to recap, refresh his material count as well, as the entire lobby now is looking to scramble across here, but Illust is still firing up. He's going to catch Batch on the movement now as well. Great layer change, though. He's going to move himself up, setting up the teak pad to try and get out here. He's got the crash pad ready to go. He's thinking about it, though, still waiting his time. He doesn't have to do it too early. Not this time around, not until the zone actually pops itself. On high ground, though, Dubs is going to go ahead and lose it to someone launch padding up above. And Aussie, things are getting super interesting here. P-God is down to 20 HP. He cannot afford to play with the zone, but he's gathering placement points as his cocks keeps ticking.
He's got to make something happen. He knows the player's above him. He's trying to bait him to drop down and go for the shotgun shot.
No.
But no, that could be too long.
No.
He waits. It is. He can't break through the full metal in time. Too much damage. He takes 2 10 ticks from zone, and he falls just outside top 30. A good game from P-God, those 7 points on the board, as we now have some of those players who are going to play for more consistency. I see NRG Ronaldo kind of making his way up a little bit here, making his way very high. Ronaldo trying to take the high ground, or at least get above this elevation, which is a good spot to be in. Asia's stuck down there on the low ground, though. He's going to have to keep playing for it. I want to see who has that shockwave launcher and who can actually really contest height, as Blake making a good push for it too. 23 points on the board. He's now inside that top 25. Those 2 refreshes were everything he needed to get him to this point, but he's going to need another one soon, as he's down to 5 builds inside the full metal base. So he's in a good spot to try and find a refresh from, but he's going to have to go soon. If this zone keeps going up, takes down Nanolite. Does take down Nanolite, a very consistent player here in this one. AJ falling in the feed as well, going down to the Storm as it pushes everyone up this big mountain.
That harpoon was so clutch to grab him all the materials he needed as well. Here it is. Polarized, though, has that shockwave launcher. You wanted to know who had it, and it's him on height. And now he's looking to fight it out for his life, though. On the other side, Illa's still up there as well. And now we have Coop down on the low ground, really tearing it up. 4 eliminations for Coop. Someone's got him backed out against the Storm, though. He's got to take the fight. He's going to step in, and yes, he catches another one. That's going to be the 5th elimination now. He's still very much in the game. I'm seeing Ronaldo. I'm seeing Dubs still here. Blake's still alive. Jay fighting his way up the high ground as well.
Is coming down to this. 6 players alive right now. Big names. Who's who of this one? Blake trying to have a big performance here. 4 eliminations already on the board. Going up again. I have to think he has one of the better mat advantages right now. Only 23 builds, but this late in the game, when the zone is about to close out, that is very good, as Ronaldo having to skirt the Storm. Coop takes down Jace. Ronaldo must have flop as he does. Can he come back in? Can he make a play? Illust, Dubs. Blake putting the pressure down onto Dubs. He gets the elimination. 4 players left. Blake has the high ground. This could be his game. This could be everything to start off the tournament for Blake. He has all the advantages. It's a 1v1. It's Blake versus Illust. Can Blake close it out? Can he jump up and have the huge game 1 performance? Illust can't get up the hill.
No.
He can't get a footing. Blake has all the advantage. Blake has to win this one. Illust down in zone. All Blake has to do is wait this one out and just hold it. He's going to be the game 1 winner of the NA East FNCS Grand Finals. Blake takes it away with 6 eliminations and 20 points on the board.
He did that so textbook as well, just holding that height. He knew he had it once Illust slipped down the mountain. Hats off to Ronaldo, though, who got top 3 as well. What a big, big game for our competitors there coming into game number 1. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be sending it over to the boys at the analyst table to break it all down for us. That was a great game 1 and a great showing for the opening here at the FNCS Grand Finals, NA East.
Aussie Monster D-Face, you guys are the best flight captains in the world. What's going on, guys? It's me, Zeke. We're here with Sundown, We're going to be breaking down some of the action. I got to say, Sundown, the Old Guard and NA East have all been falling, and it's very interesting specifically that we do see Blake peeking up the Victory Royale, because we saw this literally exact thing play out in Europe. You have two players walking into that final 1v1 with 5 eliminations. The one person that wins gets that 4-point swing to start the day.
And that ends up pushing him up to a 20-point first game, which if he's able to capitalize on, could be huge. But you talked about some of the Old Guard falling. However, towards the end there, you still had some of the Old Guard up as well. Blake's been around for a while. Ronaldo pushing towards the top, and Dubs also making it towards the end, with Illis finally falling to Old Man Mountain. So you can see the scoreboard reflecting a little bit of that there. Blake in first right now, Illis in second, Coop in third, Colazzo, Han rounding out fourth and fifth, Kufishi, Cozy, Skip, and then Dubs and Ronaldo will be the top 10. But notice everyone 5th through 10th, even on 11 points, but the difference being the eliminations currently rocking out on the tiebreaker.
Absolutely. Now we're going to flip on over to the next page. And again, it's just more of these names. We're so used to seeing Jade, Polarize, Agers, Jack, Aspect, right? Jelty, P-God. I think ultimately, like, this first game, and we saw sort of happen in EU, it's like a general feeler, right? Like, you have 6 games to play. You know you're competing with the 100 best in your region. Now, what happens? Is my drop spot contested? What does my pathing look like? You know, there's so many, all these variables we have to keep in mind, especially as we move throughout these games. I feel like this first one's fine, right? Like, we have some points on the board. That's okay. Now what we have to look forward to is, like, where do these people land? How do they adjust to this new meta that's kind of self-contained to the grand finals, and what they need to do to ensure themselves making it into the top placement, as, I guess, as high up along the placement as possible.
Yeah, and the goal is to be able to convert off of this first game. So we kind of talked about in the intro of the show, what is the pacing of a 6-game tournament? And over the course of it, you really kind of want to get yourself established early, because whoever gets out to that lead is going to start running it. And if you fall before getting that first round of placement points, or even that second round of placement points, it can get really hard to establish yourself into a rhythm and get the game moving.
Absolutely, my man. Here we go. We're going to take a look at some of them. I mean, Cal, you know, he put on a show for us yesterday. He said, look, guys, I'm going to make some stuff happen, but couldn't get the footing you're talking about here in the first game.
Yeah, and same thing happening to Boogie here is getting caught. And notice a common theme for all of these players. They're all on the edge of zone. They're rotating right around the timer with everyone else, and they're not establishing control over their space. But all of a sudden, all of these other names go down, and you get an opportunity to step up. And notice here how Blake had 0 mats. He had next to nothing there, next to nothing here again, and he's chaining together these impact eliminations. Those 3rd and 4th elims, if he doesn't get those, he doesn't turn this into a more. He doesn't create a victory royale. He doesn't have 20 points in the lead. But because he's able to get those elims and then had the harpoon to be able to get the loot and turned it into another one, he maintains the high ground control. And as the circle moves back over the course of the mountain, he gets the elimination onto Illist as well.